Are you feeling worn out at work? In this video, we're going to talk about what are the warning signs of burnout at work. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Preston, author of Harness Your Butterflies and creator of the Career Accelerator program. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button below. If this video is helpful, drop a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. And without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, I'm gonna break this video up into 3 chunks. First, we're gonna talk about what are the warning signs of burnout. Second, we're gonna talk about what can you do if you're dealing with burnout right now. And the third thing that we're gonna talk about is dealing with burnout or preventing burnout in the future. Now, burnout is something, especially in the past 2 years, where people have always been on. Burnout is definitely something that a lot of us are experiencing, and I've experienced it too, where you just feel so exhausted and tired and just worn out all the time. And it's not uncommon, unfortunately. So if you're wondering if you may be experiencing burnout, let's jump into what are some of the signs that you may be experiencing burnout. You might be feeling exhausted all the time. You might be feeling irritable or short-tempered. You might be stressed out or overwhelmed, having difficulty concentrating, losing motivation or interest in your work, frequently calling in sick or taking sick days, and experiencing physical health problems such as stomach aches or headaches. I know for me personally, burnout is something that I get a lot of stomach aches, I get a lot of health problems, and I just lose passion and enthusiasm for my work. So if any of those signs, and this is not a medical diagnosis by any means, but if any of these signs are kind of ringing true to you, you kind of feel that, you're like, you know what, yeah, I've been feeling exhausted, lacking motivation, all of that stuff with work specifically, there's a chance that you might be experiencing burnout. So if you are feeling this way, what are some ways that you can deal with burnout at work? There's a couple things, a couple recommendations that I have when you're dealing with burnout at work. And really what it boils down to, before I even go through them, what it boils down to is giving yourself space and just allowing everything to kind of relax. Because what happens with you, if you think of burnout, it's kind of like people piling on more work, more work, more work, and eventually your arms start to struggle to carry all of the stuff that you have to do. So kind of the solution to that is just to put everything down and take some space. But more tangibly, what are some things that you can do? The first thing is that you can talk to your supervisor. If you are getting a lot of assignments and you have a lot of stuff coming at you all at once, and sometimes this happens if you work for a specific company where there's a busy season. So sometimes organizations have, 2 or 3 months out of the year that are just crazy busy. If you're experiencing burnout within that kind of realm and you're just seeing that you have too many things going on, the easiest thing that you can do is talk to your boss and just make sure that they're aware that A, that you feel really overwhelmed, and B, that you might be experiencing burnout and you just need some space or some support to be able to get some things done. The second thing that you can do is on a personal level, start to schedule more breaks throughout the day. Now, if you start to see that you're experiencing burnout when you're working on projects, sometimes if there's certain things that you're working on that you're just so exhausted of working on, it might be better to schedule breaks between each meeting. So if you have, back-to-back meetings every week for, half of the year, it's obvious that you're going to start feeling burnout because you don't have time to decompress. You don't have time to kind of relax and just take a breath and go on a walk. Scheduling breaks throughout the day, physically scheduling them on your calendar. The third thing that you can do is start scheduling times with therapists to meet with therapists. If you like going that route and you like having professional support when it comes to things like burnout, having a therapist is a really, really good resource, especially if you can meet with somebody one-on-one and talk to them about just the things that are happening, and they can help untangle or unpack some of the things that are going on that you can then apply to your work. So for example, if you're seeing that you're getting really burned out because you haven't been taking care of yourself physically, which is a really big indicator, your therapist might say, they might assign to say, I want you to go on at least 2 walks a day. Those type of exercises are really good for people that are experiencing burnout. So without going much further into dealing with the burnout kind of symptoms, I would recommend first talking to your boss, second, giving yourself space, whether it's scheduling breaks, scheduling vacations, things like that, kind of creating buffer time in your schedule to make you not feel so overwhelmed. And then the third thing, obviously, seeking professional help if you really do need a lot of professional help, or if you work better kind of using somebody else as a sounding board in that context. Okay, and then the third part of this video is how do you prevent burnout in the future? So we talked about the warning signs, we've talked about what can you do if you're in burnout, and then the last section of this video I want to talk about how to prevent burnout in the future, because it's great if you can deal with it while you're going through it and you can identify the signs of it, but if you're not able to kind of prevent it in the future, then that's not really helpful. So the first thing is to take care of yourself. So actually looking at what are the things that you enjoy doing, what are the things that make you physically kind of in really good shape. So do you like having a smoothie in the morning? Do you like going on walks? I always enjoy taking my dog outside and going on walks throughout the day just to get my mind kind of going, to get my body moving and my mind moving. Those type of things. So what are the things that you can do to take care of yourself, not only physically, but mentally and kind of socially and all these other different things? What are the things that you can do to take care of yourself? Exercise, sleep, eating healthy, relaxing, those type of things, taking yourself out for a treat yourself day, all of those things. The second thing that you can do is prevent boundaries. Now this is preventing boundaries at work specifically, but I found that if you set boundaries in your life just generally, it makes things a lot more smooth and it lets you process things in smaller chunks versus having to deal with everything all at once. Now, if you're talking through boundary setting at work, it might be, I'm not going to talk to people after 5:30 p.m. I only want X number of meetings per day. I only can work on these many projects all at once. Those type of things, and it's custom to each person, so I can't necessarily give you a prescription of what that might look like, but setting boundaries so that you allow yourself not only time to think, but time to relax and make sure that you're able to connect with your boss and all of those good things that we talked about before. And the last thing, the third thing that you can do to prevent burnout in the future is communicating. I have found that a lot of burnout comes from, at least for me personally, comes from me not being able to communicate with people and then just feeling really overwhelmed when I take on all of that responsibility without being able to kind of rely on people for support. So if that sounds like you, the thing that might work really well for you is being able to communicate with people. So communicating with your boss, communicating with your team members, your partners at home, your family members, like however that looks for you. If you are experiencing burnout, the biggest thing that you can do is just tell people like, hey, I'm stressing out right now. Can you give me some space? Or, hey boss, I'm really, really buried right now. Can you just help me get rid of some of these projects? Or can we identify what are the top priority projects for me to work on? Because this is a lot to do all at once. And those are the three things that I have in terms of preventing burnout in the future. Now, if there's anything else that you would add into this video, I know I skimmed over everything pretty quickly. So if there's other things that you would add, please leave a comment below. Let me know what are your strategies for dealing with burnout at work. And with that, that's all I have. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and I have new videos every Tuesday, so I'll see you on the next one.